Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder here, and in today's video we've got yet another community replay. In this community replay we are looking at CptTyrael, his replay in his tier 10 American, I guess, premium reward cruiser, the USS Salem. Now the USS Salem was it's basically like a Des Moines clone, and it has very similar attributes. Basically, it's just a copy of a Des Moines with some slight variations. Now, he is playing in a division with Professor Cleo in his Minotaur, and then I don't know who the other guy is, but he is playing in his Conqueror. So if you'd like to send us a replay, send it to BIAworldofwarships@gmail.com. Please include the replay itself. Of course, the post-battle results would be more than appreciated, and the even your captain build and upgrades would also be nice, just in case maybe you want us to better optimize those items, or even just let other people know what you're running. That always helps. Of course, I can kind of tell. I can kind of do some guesswork. Like, I bet CptTyrael is using AFT and AA range on this ship. Just a guess, but that's a pretty typical Des Moines slash Salem setup. Now, so many of you guys might be thinking, well, looks like a Des Moines, probably feels like a Des Moines. What's different about it, Spider? Well, if you haven't already noticed, then you're missing out. You're in the Salem, you get 1,000 HP, approximately 1,000 HP less, which really isn't that big of a deal. For the most part, it actually doesn't make a difference. 1,000 HP for the most part is just an overpen from a battleship, and again, just an overpen from a battleship. I mean, in some cases it can be life and death, but a lot of times it's nothing to worry about. So you get 1,000 less less health. That's not, like I said, a big deal, but another change or difference that they have between the Des Moines and the Salem is that there's no 20mm AA armaments on the Salem. It's only the dual purpose 127 mils and the 76.2mm AA guns that you have on your ship. And again, that might not be a big difference, and well, you're right, it really isn't a big difference at all. I mean, this really, the only thing that it really helps with is when dive bombers are coming in at you, so you can get a little bit of extra AA. Usually torpedo bombers are striking outside of the 20mm, or it can or their range, so most of the time it doesn't matter, but for dive bombers they have to get pretty much right on top of you, so it does matter in those scenarios. But again, Des Moines AA is quite good. Most of your DPS is in those 76.2mm, so at the end of the day, again, it's not a huge difference, and it's nothing to write home about. Now, so again, very minor differences. Salem seems like slightly worse ship than the Des Moines, but it's got, it has its drawbacks, but it also has its forward backs. Bad joke, I guess. But it also has some good things going for it. One of those things is better dispersion, both in the horizontal and the vertical departments. Now, most of the time, the vertical department's not nearly as bad, but at least with the Des Moines, it seems to be very, very bad. A lot of times, I see my shells a lot of times going more vertical than I do horizontal, and well, when you're trying to get citadels, that is obviously not the ideal thing you want to happen. You want all your shells to be pretty much in a, I mean, ideally you would want them to be right where you're pointing, but that's never going to happen. The second best option is to be in a horizontal line, or like a very short ellipse. So pretty wide, relatively wide, and a very short ellipse. This means that most likely, if a ship is broadside, you're going to hit more of your shells on the citadel area than than not. And by having it being a short ellipse, well, you know, then you obviously get some nice benefits of you not overpenning the ship as opposed to citadeling it. So that's of course better. The Sigma is the same though, so that is still the same. So here I just want to comment on Ty's gameplay. It's been pretty entertaining so far, pretty in the action. Very nice play on that Baltimore in the beginning, and then that Worcester here that just got killed. Here I would though switch to AP definitely. You're within you're within 11 kilometers of a battleship, and well, you know, getting ass pens on any battleship is actually quite devastating. Now we get some good RNG here. Well, we get some 2 fires, and here again I would switch to AP, start aiming right at this armor belt right there, and start farming the damage. HE, you're still not going to, you're still going to do good damage, but I mean 3,300 is not bad, but I mean if you're shooting that main armor belt, that's going to be 4 or 5k at least each salvo, especially in the unsaturated parts. So like the bow and the stern, those parts will take massive damage, and you can get very easily 6k salvos, 7k salvos. I've even got high as 10k salvos if I land the majority of my shells in the Des Moines. So same thing here. Reloading AP, which is good. For this broadside Seattle, I'm not quite sure what he's doing here, but we'll see if he gets punished. Probably not going to be able to stay on cap. We get a Citadel there, which was nice. We're probably going to have to angle to the Missouri, but cannot angle too far, just due to the simple fact that the Seattle does still have 152mm guns, and they do still hurt. So we're going to do the next best thing and hope that the Missouri isn't really looking at us. If he is, he's not getting a Citadel. We're going to go bow in to the Seattle and just pretty much out DPM him. It's a bit odd for a heavy cruiser to be saying about a light cruiser, but when you get very consistent pens on a light cruiser, it really doesn't make a difference. Carrier also gets spotted, so we're going to temporarily be farming him. And then we'll probably switch over to the Seattle. So, another thing about the Salem. So, thus far it's been pretty minuscule changes slash small distinctions with the ship. And I guess if you're paying attention, and here's another one. I'll talk about that in a minute, though. But the Salem, it does get... It's an interesting ship because it gets damage control party for certain, defensive fire for certain, but then it gets a choice between hydroacoustic search or radar, and then you get the heal, you know, and that's the only option. Whereas on the Des Moines, you do get the you get your damage control. You get an option between defensive fire and hydroacoustic, and then you get another option between catapult, spotter aircraft, and then radar. Obviously, radars, you're going to want to take radar for the Des Moines, and then the heal is, well, it's pretty obvious. Now the radar on the Salem, it's not the classic tier 10 American Hydro. It is it's not a radar. I mean, its duration is pretty nerfed at only 25 seconds, and its range is also nerfed at 8.5 kilometers. So this is kind of a, it's not a very ideal radar, and this leads many to pretty much completely skip out on the radar. The main reason being, with the 9.9 kilometer radar that the Des Moines gets, as soon as you get spotted at 10.6, I'm not saying it's instantaneous, but you do have a pretty good room to, you get spotted, you wait a few seconds, and then you can radar, depending on the angle that the destroyer came in at you, or whatever spotting you came in at you. You can hit your radar pretty much instantaneously, and then go after him. However, with the Salem, with only 8.5 kilometer radar, you're not quite able to do that. You have to really be aware of your positioning, and really if you're getting spotted, Well, it's not. It's a bad news for you because you're probably not going to go unspotted. So Tyrell's just barely missing. They probably should have gotten a kill there. Looks like he was either not targeting the guy or maybe just firing too short. Either way, we're gonna move on. We're already at 195k. That full health S6 really did help us out quite a bit, which was of course nice. So yeah, the radar is pretty nerfed, especially when you compare the duration, and that's one of the US's radar strength is the duration. You know, a Des Moines radar lasts up to 40 seconds, and then when you look at the Salem, it's only 25. It does feel a little bit meh. So the final thing, and if you guys noticed a little bit earlier when Tyrell was healing, the Salem does get a pretty interesting heal. Now, I'll start with the Des Moines. The Des Moines has the standard tier 10 cruiser heal. That means that it's going for around 28 seconds. That means, you know, when you press the T key in this case, you know, it's going to run for 28 seconds regardless of how much HP you need to heal back up. And then it's got a heal rate of 0.005, so 0.5% of the ship's total HP per second. So this leads to I forgot to do the math, but if we take the Des Moines at 50,600 multiplied by 0.005, you get a repair rate of 253 HP per second, which is pretty standard for most tier 10s, you know, give or take a few HP, but that rate is always pretty much the same over the duration of 28 seconds, and then we get a potential heal of 7,084. Now things can multiply this, you know, signal flags and whatnot, but regardless. Now the one thing about the Salem is that it actually gets a very good heal, almost British cruiser-like, British battleship-like. It gets a heal rate of 0.02 maximum HP per second. It does last for not nearly as much time, but it is very, very potent. So if we take the Salem's HP, which is 49,700, multiplied by 0.02, so 2% of the ship's total HP, that's 994 HP per second, and that is quite impressive. And yeah, that actually ends as a replay. All right, so as before the replay could end, and I was just too focused on getting these stats out to you guys. So if you take that 0.002 or 0.02 percent HP per second, that ends up being 994 HP per second for the Salem, and then multiply that by a 27 work duration, and then 22nd, and you end up getting a 19,000, nearly a 20,000 HP potential heal, and that's just one heal. Of course, like I said, you can have some modifiers there, but that is quite insane, and that allows the Salem to be, I wouldn't say tankier, but when it needs to get that HP back rather quickly, it can do that. And since the cooldown or the work time isn't as long, you get that heal a little bit faster. However, we ended up with 248k. I know it's quite a quick game, just shy of 300 shell hits, a double strike there at the end, and a witherer. 11 planes shot down, 3 ships killed, 6 citadels. Team score wise, 2793 base XP. Very nice game. Professor Clero, he died a little bit early, but he still managed to get 1573 base XP, and it's Frankie Baby in the Conqueror. He almost got 1500 base XP as well. So a very nice game there, but I think CptTyrael did do his homework and did you know, end up pulling this through for his team. So detailed reports, well, see there, 1.5 witherers. It's always nice to see in a Des Moines/Salem. I thought we could use some AP a little bit more against those battleships, especially some of the more broadside ones like those Kurfürsts. But it's okay. Maybe if if you watch this video, CptTyrael, you will maybe change that in your playstyle a little bit. But either way, it still doesn't take away from the result. Great result here. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, don't leave a like, or leave a dislike and tell us why down in the comment section down below. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please send in your replays. We do try and look at all of them. So without further ado, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in the next video.